Hi, this is JilliBling. How are you? What do you think? It's so easy to make. It's so pretty. So this is the 5th card I've made using a package of designer paper. It's called Refreshed Beauty. I'll show you the other 4 cards, but this is the final one. I was trying to use up one sheet, not use up, but use a little bit of each of the sheets in the designer paper. And one of the projects, actually 2 of the projects, have 2 sheets on them. So this is today's project. And it uses Charming Day for the greeting and the dies, these beautiful flower dies. And then the flower die for the center is also from Charming Beauty. And for the inside, the words, "Oh Happy Day." This is on the last chance list, or it was just a few weeks ago. Hopefully it's still there. But any words will do that go with happy birthday. And the dies, Charming Day dies. Okay, so that's today's project. And here's the designer paper. And we'll be using iridescent pearls, embossing buddy, tear tape, and I need to give credit to Stampin' Beauty. Stampin' Beauty made something very similar to this, and I just put it on the designer paper, and it's beautiful. I love the design. Stampin' Beauty, thank you for sharing. So these are papers, and here's the designer paper. And I'll show you the projects here in just a minute. So that was yesterday's project. This was the day before project. Isn't that pretty? And a lot of peaches, peach pie, puppy parade, lemon lime twist, granny apple green. This I think would be good for Halloween. This is, here, I'll show you the projects using all this paper. That's today's paper. But look at the pretty birds. Pretty birds. Okay. So here they are. This is rustic centerpieces. And I used the designer paper. And this is a new stamp set. It's a lot of fun. There's that one. And then this one. And then this one is a tri-fold, Spotlight on Nature, and Unbound Dies. Oh, and this one was a lot of fun. This one uses 2 pieces of designer paper. This one here also uses 2 pieces. This is taking colored cardstock and vanilla cardstock and watercoloring on them to get all those colors. So this was 3 videos ago. And then the first card using Charming Day. Whew, a lot of fun projects. Okay, so we went through all that. Let's get busy making this project. Okay, so here are the papers, and that just sat in a stamp that had ink on it. Yeah, it might be okay. If ever you have that happen, see a little bit of ink. I have a sand eraser, and it's pretty much like an emery board, but if you take off the top layer of paper, it'll make the ink be gone too. But sometimes it makes the paper a little bit rough, like you took sandpaper to it, but it's better than having dirty paper. Okay, I'll strategically put that somewhere. How about on the back? Okay, so I'll just fold it. There's an ew. And that will go right here. So when you open the card, it's pretty. It's right there. No one will notice, right? Okay, this is for the words. I could do that. I'm going to use my embossing buddy. And this is to stamp happy birthday. So I use Versamark ink. Happy birthday. and white embossing powder. Okay, so how do I do this without getting powder everywhere? I don't have a separate sheet ready to go. I might have done it. No, I didn't. Okay, that's better. The heat tool. Okay, now I'll trim it. I have a little trimmer right in my desk drawer right below here. Just a minute. That's good. I was going to say take a little bit off the bottom. So I wanted to use my blending brush and have this kind of ombre look, but I'll have you know, I have a good bad example. If you put blending brush on the white embossing powder, even after it's really well dried, the Poppy Parade or just about any color, they kind of stick to the white embossing, and I tried taking a towel and getting the ink off of there. It didn't work. So here's the difference. And I would rather use this one, even though it doesn't have any of the blending brush or the ombre effect on it. Then I thought, well, what if I do the blending brush on here and make it just different tones of Poppy Parade? I was like, you know, you could hardly tell. Therefore, this is the winner. Okay, so that's going to go on there. This is for the die for these flowers. So here's the die. Kind of fancy, huh? And you could get 2 per paper. And this paper is 2 3/4 by 8 1/2. But see how it perfectly fits? So I'll cut out 2 of these. Here it is. Okay, what else do we have? This goes on the inside. And this is here. And what a difference when it's, you have the blending brush on it and not. Of course, these will go on here. And that looks pretty too, but I think this looks really good. So let's take the blending brush to this piece of designer paper. And I found that the heavier the color, the more the white flowers show up. But you do want to leave some of the Flirty Flamingo designer paper showing. I have it showing in the middle. And when you're doing your blending brush, if you get heavy spots, light spots on this project, it's just fine. And keep in mind that the less ink that's on the brush, the softer it will be. So right now I'm really short on ink, but this is a good opportunity to drift into midpoint and make the transition from dark to medium to light. This is good for medium to light areas. See, this is all that's coming out, just a little bit. But when you touch down, it's real heavy like that. But it doesn't have to be perfectly smooth because you'll mostly be seeing those beautiful white flowers. So I'm going to drift a little bit more to the middle because I don't have as much ink on it right now. But I like how bright that is, so I'm going to try to leave that bright with no blending brush on it. So that there should do. You can see I have heavy areas, medium, light, and I'm just going to leave it like that. You also probably can see that I have some spots that are heavier. It's not perfectly smooth, but that's going to be fine. Since I have the blending brush out, I'll do the inside of the card, and it's heavy down in the corner, and then it gets softer and softer and softer. And then I'll stamp the words. Okay, see, I don't want to get that in the ink, but it's good as reference. So I know there's not much ink on it, so I'm going to see how far I could drift up and get a nice soft. See how nice that is there. But I need it to be in the bottom corner at least a bit heavy, so the white flower will show up. And I kept thinking, oh, I should stamp a flower. Oh, I should do something a little bit stronger. But once I laid that white flower in here, it's like, oh, that's pretty. And it matches the front. I don't like that I have a streak right here, but I plan on making this heavier, so it should be just fine. And even if I did, the white flower would, that would take your eye. That gets all the attention. Okay, I want it to be heavier down here. Okay, it's not perfect. Let's see, maybe a little bit more focus on the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that because once the white flower is on, I have the other one cut out already. It'll be just fine. Okay, since I have that ink out, I'm going to stamp the Oh Happy Day. Kind of in the corner, just so that there's room for that flower. Yay! Turned out just right. Okay, so that flower is part of the Charming Day bundle, and here's that die. Pretty, huh? I keep on wanting to add color to all these. I like the outcome. Right like that. And so see how it's really nice that it's dark here? Because if it was lighter, it still would show up, but it's just not quite as vibrant. And that all goes with the theme of the card. Okay, so let's build this. I'm going to turn this paper over just because I don't want any of that Poppy Parade ink in the wrong spots. Okay. And so Stampin' Beauty, when she did her card, she used the white baker's twine, which I'm going to use this time. But I thought, let me try it with the silver, which I think goes great with these iridescent pearls. But I think gold would be really pretty too. So it just depends on what metallic you like. But this time, I'm going to try to keep it the same as Stampin' Beauty using the white baker's twine, which comes in Baker's Twine Essential Pack. And it's a pack of all neutral colors. 5 different baker's twine, including white and black, which I use a lot of. There's a vanilla, a kind of a crumb cake looking one, and a gray, like granite gray. So it's really universal. Okay, that's ready. And I'm trying not to get any ink on my fingers and have any ink go over the top because it'll disrupt the blending brush. It'll make it not smooth. Okay, so I'll put dimensionals on here, on the back. Ooh, do I have the rim? I'm gonna use the rim. Okay, I'm gonna use it all, somehow. Okay. probably wouldn't have put the one in the middle if I didn't have it sticking to my finger. Okay, so this is going to be inside. So let's attach these beautiful flowers. Isn't that just like automatically so pretty? Look at that. And then this will go into a double bow. It has a knot. The question is, the knot is at the end. Do I try to take it out or do I cut it off? Depends on how hard it is. It's going to be taken out. Now it's all frayed. Well, that might be a look for this project. Oh, it's all curly too. Okay. Off it goes. So a double bow, and if you want to know how to do double bow, I have a video on it. It's one of my very first videos I made, and you could scroll down or you could say in the comments, send me the video and I'll attach it. I know a lot of you already know how to do them. So double bow, and that's going to go on the back of the word label. So on the word label, I could put dimensionals all over it and then attach this bow in there. But then if the bow is in the dimensional, hold it on tight, then the paper is not going to stick to the card front. So I'm going to use a hint of tear tape right here. Put the bow into this. Like that. And then I'll put dimensionals in areas where the bow is not attached. And kind of lock it into place. It's right over the first piece of tear tape. And I'm just going to leave the paper on. I'm afraid that if I took the paper off, it might stick to the card front, and that would be happy birthday. Don't want that. So it could just stay just like that. Then we'll have it raised with, at this point I'm going to put just 2 dimensionals on, because after I put the flowers on, they might be, oh, I put that on crooked, like really crooked. Did you see that? Did you know that? Because see how these go over the words? What was I thinking? Okay, we'll see. And you know I put all those dimensionals on there. If it comes up easy, that's good. And I'm fine no matter where the dimensional decides it wants to go. That's okay. It's just going to stay there. Because when I replace this, put it back down, it's going to be very close in the same spot. So let me put this on my new glass mat, because it has a little bit of a darker tinge to it. I could see the outline of the card base a little bit better. Now let me try it. There it is, much better. Okay, so to attach these flowers, I'm going to use dimensionals, and see how some parts are kind of hanging over the edge, which I like. Therefore, I'm going to put dimensionals just on the flowers, and then I'll go back through and I'll tuck them on underneath the leaves. But at this point, when I flip it over, I won't be sure, okay, do I put one here or not? Therefore, dimensionals under the flowers only, for now. I'll fix it though. And I found that maybe in 1 or 2 places the large regular dimensionals work, but most of the places they don't. So just use your little ones. And for all the stamping and coloring that we do not do on this card, you end up using lots of dimensionals. Maybe I could just put it on the outside of the flower rather than every petal. But I know some of you are like, oh no, it's got to be everywhere. Sometimes I'm like that too. I'm trying to be frugal. One of my cards frugal, huh? Okay, So that's just on the flowers. So I'll put it right where I like it, a little bit hanging over, most of it on the Poppy Parade. I'm looking at this flower, it's right on the border, that's where it's gonna go. And we'll come back and attach all these leaves in just a bit. Okay, so for this one, same process. Flowers, okay, I'm gonna try for 3 dimensionals per flower. Okay. This little half flower will get 2. I think that leaf is in the middle. It's not going to be hanging over the edge. I'm not sure about the other ones. Okay, so now this gets attached. So the leaves in the corner, this flower on there, this flower on there. How's that? And even if you had it twisted a little bit, it still would be beautiful. Okay, so let's attach those leaves. Then we'll attach the greeting and bling. So, leaf, leaf. I think the iridescent pearls are really pretty with this. Okay, so those are done. Or there's the iridescent faceted gems, I think they're called. I know they're like the pearls, but they have a fancy little pattern in them. Those would be really pretty too. You want something like really white that will show up on this darker Poppy Parade. And this kind of has a white and Poppy Parade monochromatic theme. Okay, put this one inside because the tip of that leaf is hanging over the edge. Okay, that one is done. Dimensionals and dimensionals. They make such a difference too. I've always used lots of dimensionals. What would we do without dimensionals? But you know, when glitter went out of style, or just was not so good to use, I think it was like an environmental thing, I thought, how am I going to stamp without glitter? Somehow we've done it. Okay, let's see. These, and then I think we're done. And it's okay if you just flip them up, bend them, because once you put it back in place, you can't even see that little crease. And it's not like I'm taking my bone folder to it and creasing it. Okay, there's that. So for the greeting, we have 2 dimensionals on here. And let's see if those are in the right place. This one might even be better if it's somewhere else. I know for sure the middle one. Happy birthday. I think I had a different angle for my flowers last time. I want some of this lighter color to show. How about like that? Okay. And I'm going to lift this up and put glue on the white flowers underneath. And then see where else I need maybe a mini dimensional under there. Or 2. Definitely one right there. Oh, that's good. Little ribbon. It's just so fresh. Oh, guess what I just did? Oh. Okay. Who was it that Jude said, when you mess up, it's good to see how you recover. How am I going to pull this one off? And you know what? I know you've all done it too, right? So I know. Okay, I have a plan. You ready? I could see if this will lift. Oh, it's still kind of lifting. And just put the whole thing upside down. I bet you some of you knew that too. You're like, you're putting that on upside down. Oh, this is gonna work. Okay, so there's a little bit of ugly going on here, but that dimensional, this dimensional, we can't have it double up. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, that one, that one's ugly. Can't have ugly ones. You have to have functioning ones. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Actually, I can, because I started to do it on the sample card. Okay, so good. Okay. And we need one right down here. So if that didn't work, if it wasn't pulling up fine, what I was going to do is, as this was upside down, I was going to take the dimensionals and just cut them in half, flip the whole thing over, put a dot of glue on top of each of these, which I might do anyhow. And that would have worked too. See, I'm not sure if some of these dimensionals are like, you already have me sticking down. I'm tired. Oh. Jude, you know I listen to you, don't you? Get it on straight this time too. Because that's 2 times I pulled it up. Oh, look at that. Yay. Those pieces just float. Let me make sure it's right. Yes. Okay, I'm going to let that stick. Okay, let's work on the inside and then come back to that. So this, I was just going to stick it down flat, but you know, that's not always so easy to do. So I'm going to put dimensionals on the flower and on a few of the big leaves. And then I'm going to have glue on the stem and on the 2 small leaves. I can't believe I did that. Yeah. But you know what? We've all done it. It's good to try and recover from it. Okay. That's good. And now, glue on the stem, the small leaves, and because there's glue on there, because I have blending brush on here, I'm going to try to set it down, and that's going to be it. So I'm going to hover it over the top until I get the right placement, only because if I pick it up and the glue touches the blending brush, it makes it not so pretty. Okay, there it is. That's where it's going to live. Glue. And even that, how it's squishing out beside of it, it's going to make kind of a ring where the glue is. Okay, that's good. Let that dry a little bit. Stick this inside. And I have the paper cut sizes and all the products used in the video description. so you can make it too. Got a smear. Poppy Parade in black. Look at that, worked on that one. Tombow Sand Eraser, I got this on Amazon for ink. Poppy Parade and Blackberry Bliss. I am just, with those two colors, I'm always just a mess. And you've probably never seen me stamp with Blackberry Bliss because it's like guaranteed. Poppy Parade, 50-50. Blackberry Bliss, I'd say 90% of the time I smudge it like that. It's like it just has a mind of its own. Okay, so I'm going to put on 5 iridescent pearls. 1, 2, 3, some tiny ones, 4. Okay, this is going to be the special one. Should be hiding in there. How about there? It's kind of lost. I don't want to group it with these. Right there, 5, because it shows up on the Poppy Parade blending brush corner. Okay, so that is it for today's project. Do you like the silver or the white better? And they both open correctly. Imagine that. And, Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.